Let me ask you something. What if I told you that everything you ever wanted, every skill, every breakthrough, every ounce of greatness is already within you, not out there, not in some book, not in some guru, but within you? The only thing between where you are and where you want to be is mastery, and here's the truth. You can master anything. But the real question is, will you? Mastery is not reserved for the gifted. It's not just for the chosen few. Mastery belongs to the committed, to the ones who show up, even when no one's watching, even when no one believes, even when there's no applause. Because those who master something don't do it for the trophy. They do it for transformation. Now listen carefully. There are three forces, three obsessions that you must unleash if you want to master anything in life, and I mean anything: a skill, a business, a mindset. A relationship doesn't matter. Mastery doesn't care what it is. The path is the same. 1. Obsession with vision. First, you need a vision that electrifies you. A vision that wakes you up in the morning before your alarm clock. One that whispers to you in quiet moments. You cannot master what you don't clearly see. The world's greatest athletes, inventors, leaders, they weren't just talented. They had a compelling vision of what they wanted to become. And they lived into it every single day. But let me tell you this, your brain won't go after fuzzy goals. You can't say, I want to get better at this, or I hope I improve. That's weak. Vague intentions produce vague results. Instead, get vivid, define it, see it, feel it, smell it. Don't just set goals, create an obsession. Live in the movie of your future and then work backwards to the present moment. Because when your vision is strong enough, you stop making excuses. You stop letting failure define you. You start letting your future pull you. 2. Rituals over motivation. Let's kill a myth right now. You don't need more motivation. What you need is rituals, daily habits. Relentless consistency, because motivation is a mood, it comes and goes, but rituals, they build empires. If you want to master anything, you must create a system that makes success inevitable. Want to be a master speaker? Speak every day. Want to be a master athlete? Train every day. Want to master your mindset? Guard your input, manage your state, and train your emotions every day. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your habits. The difference between amateurs and masters: amateurs do it when they feel like it. Masters do it until it feels like them. 3. Fall in love with the plateau. Here's where most people quit. They hit the plateau. That phase where you're doing the work, showing up daily, grinding. But there's no reward, no feedback, no results. That's where 95% of people give up. But the masters, they fall in love with the plateau. They know something most people don't, that growth is happening even when it's invisible. That behind the scenes, their neurons are rewiring, their craft is sharpening, their identity is evolving. Mastery is not sexy. It's not a highlight reel. It's lonely mornings. It's doing the reps when no one's watching. It's pushing through resistance when every part of you wants to rest. It's saying yes to the boring, mundane, unseen part of the process. Because that's where the greatness is forged. Champions aren't born in the spotlight, they're built in the shadows. So if you're on the plateau, good. Stay there. Keep showing up. Trust the process. Because if you do, you'll emerge as something the world cannot ignore. Now let me make this real for you. Think of something you want to master right now. Close your eyes if you have to. Picture it. It could be a business, a craft, a discipline, a new version of you. You see it. Good. Now understand something. The only thing between you and that mastery is decisions. The decision to begin. The decision to continue when it's hard. The decision to never settle, because life will test you. It will throw distractions at you, doubt, delay, disappointment. But if your vision is strong, your rituals are unshakable, and your love for the process is deep, then nothing can stop you. Don't wait for someone to validate you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start now, today, with what you have, from where you are. Because the moment you commit to mastery, truly commit, the world rearranges itself to support you. Every master was once a disaster. Every expert was once a beginner. And every champion once thought about quitting. but didn't. So here's the challenge, not a wish, not a hope, not a maybe someday. Make the decision right now to become a master at something. And give it everything, no backup plan, no excuses, burn the boats, show up daily and turn your shoulds into musts, because once you do, once you step onto the path of mastery, you don't just change what you can do. You change who you are, and when that happens, there's nothing you can't create, nothing you can't become, nothing you can't master. Clarity of vision is the foundation of mastery. Everything extraordinary that has ever been created in this world began in the mind of someone who saw it before it existed. Before the invention, before the record, before the transformation, there was a vision. A clear, burning, unshakable vision. Without it, you're swinging in the dark, hoping you hit something worthwhile. But with it, you become a force that the world cannot ignore. When you know exactly what you want, when you can see it in vivid detail, your energy becomes focused. Your actions become aligned, your days gain direction, you stop being pulled in 10 different directions, and you begin to move with purpose. Most people never master anything because they never define what mastery means to them. They're vague. They say, I want to be successful, I want to be great, I want to improve, but they never say how, when, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it sounds like. The brain does not respond to vague. It responds to precision. If you want to activate your potential, you must give your mind a target so specific, so compelling, that it can't help but move toward it. You need to see yourself already living it. You need to taste it. You need to walk through your future in your imagination like it's already real, because in that moment, something powerful happens. Your identity begins to shift. You stop being someone who wants, and you become someone who is. That's the beginning of mastery. It's not just in the doing, it's in the becoming, and becoming starts in the mind. When your vision is clear, discipline becomes easier. You no longer have to drag yourself toward your goals start pulling you. You no longer waste energy deciding what to do because your vision already decided for you. Clarity eliminates distraction. Clarity crushes procrastination. When you have a strong enough why, the how starts to show up. But when your vision is cloudy, every obstacle feels bigger, every delay feels heavier, every setback feels like a sign to quit. Clarity gives you emotional leverage. When it's 5 a.m. and your body says sleep, your vision says rise. When failure knocks on your door, your vision says keep going. When people laugh at you, doubt you, ignore you, your vision reminds you why you started in the first place. Clarity doesn't mean you know every step ahead. It means you know where you're going, even if the path is foggy. It means your inner GPS is locked in. Every decision, every effort, every sacrifice starts aligning with your ultimate aim. The truth is, your environment will always try to blur your vision. Distractions will try to dilute it. People will try to shrink it. Life will throw storms your way, hoping to shake it. But if your vision is strong enough, nothing can steal it. You have to protect your vision like it's oxygen, because it is. Without it, your dreams suffocate. Without it, your fire dies. You have to feed it daily. You have to remind yourself why it matters. You have to build your routines, your surroundings, your mindset around keeping it alive. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Visualize it until it becomes more real than your current circumstances. Because the moment your vision becomes stronger than your excuses, your progress becomes unstoppable. You begin to walk, talk, act, and think like the version of you who has already achieved it. You start attracting what matches your clarity. You start repelling what doesn't. You start moving with certainty in a world full of confusion. That's the power of clarity. It's not just about seeing the destination. It's about becoming the kind of person who refuses to settle for anything less. Rituals create results, not motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes in waves, unpredictable and unreliable. One moment you feel on fire, ready to conquer the world, and the next you're drained, distracted, or discouraged. If you depend on motivation to move forward, You'll stay stuck in a cycle of starting and stopping. The people who master anything understand this truth deeply. They don't wait to feel like it. They train themselves to do it anyway. That's what rituals are. They are non-negotiable actions you take daily, regardless of your emotional state. They are the standards you live by, not the moods you wait for. When you build powerful rituals, you take motivation out of the equation. You replace inconsistency with momentum. You replace chaos with structure. You replace doubt with daily proof. The mind loves consistency. It craves patterns. When you give it strong rituals, you teach it who you are becoming. It starts to believe you. It starts to support you. Mastery is not the result of big, dramatic actions. It's the result of small things done daily with relentless discipline. A morning routine that sharpens your focus. A daily practice that builds your craft. A journaling habit that clears your mind. A workout that strengthens your body. A commitment to growth that feeds your hunger. These are the invisible bricks that build empires. They don't look impressive on the surface. No one claps for you when you choose the habit over the distraction. No one cheers when you keep the promise you made to yourself. But over time, these quiet rituals compound. They become your edge. They become your identity. The power of rituals lies in repetition. Every time you repeat a ritual, you reinforce a belief. You tell your subconscious, "This is who I am now." And your actions start to align with that identity. You don't have to force it anymore because it becomes automatic. Brushing your teeth is not a motivational act. It's a ritual. You just do it. Mastery works the same way. The skill you want to learn, the business you want to build, the confidence you want to own, it all comes down to what you do daily, not what you feel occasionally. Rituals strip away the need for willpower. They create rhythm. They create flow. You don't need to decide whether or not to do the work. You already decided when you built the ritual. The mistake most people make is chasing inspiration before they act. They wait for the right mood, the right environment, the perfect time, but masters reverse that. They act first. They show up no matter what, and by doing so, they create their own inspiration. Action leads to clarity. Action builds confidence. Action generates motivation, not the other way around. That's why rituals are sacred. They protect your progress when your feelings try to sabotage it. They keep you moving when life gets messy. They remind you who you are when the world tries to distract you. Every ritual is a vote for the future you. Every time you stick to it, you cast a vote for the person you're becoming, and those votes add up. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to get it all right. You just have to be consistent. You just have to make the rituals stronger than the resistance. Build them around your goals. Build them around your values. Make them simple. Make them powerful. Make them part of your identity. Because once something becomes who you are, it no longer takes effort. It becomes effortless. That's how transformation happens. Not in a burst of motivation, but in the quiet power of daily rituals practiced with intention. Mastery lives in repetition, not in talent. Talent may give you a head start, but it's repetition that gets you across the finish line. It's not about how gifted you are. It's about how relentless you are. The people who rise to the top are not always the most naturally skilled. They are the ones who kept showing up long after others gave up. Repetition is the secret code that rewires your brain, sharpens your instincts, and turns a weakness into a weapon. It's the quiet, unglamorous process of doing it again and again and again until it becomes second nature. Every master was once an amateur who chose to repeat instead of retreat. They didn't rise because it was easy. They rose because they refused to quit during the boring, slow, and frustrating parts of the journey. Repetition isn't exciting, but it's powerful. It builds muscle memory. It builds confidence. It builds certainty. The first time you try something, it's awkward. The 10th time, it's still a struggle. But the 100th time, the 1000th, it becomes part of you. Your hands move with precision. Your mind anticipates what's next. Your emotions no longer sabotage your focus. That's the magic of repetition. It transforms your identity. You go from doing the thing to becoming the kind of person who lives the thing. You don't think about the process anymore because it's embedded in your nervous system. It's no longer effortful. It's automatic. Most people never get to that level because they get bored. They chase novelty. They want new, fast, exciting. But mastery doesn't live in the exciting. It lives in the repetitive, in the grind, in the decision to do the reps even when progress feels invisible, even when it feels like nothing is changing. Because the truth is, every repetition counts, whether you can see the results or not. Growth isn't always visible in the moment. Sometimes it shows up all at once after months of doing the work with no reward. That's why discipline is more powerful than inspiration. Discipline says, I'll do it again because I said I would. Inspiration says, I'll do it when I feel like it. One builds mastery, the other builds inconsistency. Think of the greatest musicians, athletes, creators, thinkers. What separates them is not just their passion, it's their practice, the hours no one sees, the days they wanted to quit but didn't, the times they fell short and showed up anyway. They've repeated the basics so many times that the extraordinary becomes effortless. They've trained their mind and body to respond under pressure. They've earned their instincts through repetition. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's muscle built from the grind. It's mastery forged in silence. If you want to master anything, your craft, your body, your mind, you need to embrace repetition like a ritual. You need to understand that greatness isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build brick by brick, rep by rep. The world may not applaud the 1,000 times you practiced alone, but those are the moments that separate average from extraordinary. Every time you repeat something with intention, you get better. Every time you do it, even when you don't feel like it, you build mental toughness. Every time you push through the monotony, you sharpen your edge. Repetition is not the enemy. It's the gateway. It's not the boring part. It's the becoming. It's where the real transformation takes place, not in the highlight, but in the habit. Not in the burst of inspiration, but in the discipline to return to the fundamentals until they become the foundation of your excellence. The plateau is where greatness is built. It's the phase almost no one talks about, but everyone must pass through. It's the quiet stretch where results slow down, motivation fades, and progress feels invisible. Most people meet the plateau and think they've failed. They believe something's wrong. They assume their effort isn't working. But the truth is, the plateau is not the problem. It's the process. It's the testing ground where your intentions are purified, your commitment is challenged, and your character is forged. Anyone can show up when it's exciting. Anyone can give their best when results are pouring in and people are cheering. But only the committed keep going when it's just them, the work, and the silence. The plateau separates the interested from the obsessed. It filters out those who want quick wins and rewards those who are in it for mastery. The plateau is where most people quit because it's where the work starts to feel heavier than the reward. You're doing the same thing day after day, and it feels like you're stuck. But what you don't see is the transformation happening under the surface. Your habits are solidifying, your mindset is hardening, your skills are deepening, and the very act of pushing through the plateau is what makes you worthy of the breakthrough that follows. Growth doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes growth is staying in the game long enough to let the compounding take effect. This is the part where your ego starts to scream. It wants recognition, results, validation. It wants proof that what you're doing is working. But the plateau offers none of that. It demands faith. It demands grit. It demands that you trust the process even when you can't see the payoff. The greatest achievements are not born in the spotlight. They're built in the plateau. The best athletes, artists, entrepreneurs, creators, they all went through seasons where nothing seemed to work, where everything felt like resistance, but they kept showing up. They kept swinging. They stayed loyal to the craft even when the craft gave them nothing in return. The plateau is not punishment. It's preparation. It's building the internal foundation you'll need to sustain success when it finally comes. Because if you can't handle the boredom of the plateau, you won't handle the pressure of the next level. The plateau teaches patience, it teaches discipline, it teaches resilience. You learn how to work without applause, how to believe without evidence, how to commit without guarantee. These are the qualities that define greatness, and you don't get them from shortcuts. You get them from staying in the fire long after the heat becomes uncomfortable. Most people try to escape the plateau. They pivot to something new. They switch strategies. They start over. But what they don't realize is that every time they run, they forfeit the power of compound effort. The compound effect only kicks in after repetition meets time. The work you're doing today may not pay off tomorrow, but it's stacking. It's building pressure behind the scenes. The moment you quit, you release that pressure. You throw away all the momentum you were building. Mastery belongs to those who embrace the plateau, who accept that not every season is harvest. Some seasons are about planting seeds and trusting that one day, in a moment you least expect, the ground will break open. The plateau is not the end. It's not the failure point. It's the forge. It's where you either give up or grow up. It's where your commitment becomes real, your focus sharpens, and your identity shifts. The people who emerge from the plateau are not the same as those who entered it. They are stronger, sharper, more prepared, not because they were more talented, but because they stayed when others left. You don't need more time, you need deeper commitment. The illusion most people live under is that if they just had a little more time, everything would change. If the days were longer, if the schedule was clearer, if life was easier, then the goals would be reached, the habits would stick, the results would show up. But the truth is, it's not a lack of time that holds people back, it's a lack of depth in their decision. Time is not what separates the average from the elite. Every person has the same 24 hours, but not every person uses them with the same level of intensity, clarity, and conviction. Commitment is what makes the difference. Not just interest, not a casual desire, not a wish that things were different. Real, raw, unshakable commitment. The kind that reorders your life around your priorities instead of fitting your priorities around your distractions. When you're truly committed, you stop negotiating with excuses. You don't argue with the alarm clock. You don't debate whether or not to do the work. The decision has already been made. Commitment is not a feeling. It's a choice that's honored long after the emotion of that choice fades. That's why some people get more done in one focused hour than others do in a scattered day. Their time isn't different. Their level of commitment is. They show up like it matters. They show up like there's no plan B. They don't dabble, they dedicate. That depth of commitment is what pulls energy out of you that you didn't know you had. It activates a level of discipline, focus, and resilience that doesn't exist in the shallow waters of half decisions. Deeper commitment changes how you use your time. It eliminates distraction because distraction becomes too expensive. It eliminates laziness because comfort becomes less attractive than growth. You start making decisions not based on what's easy, but on what's aligned. You no longer ask, "Do I have time for this?" You ask, "Is this worth my commitment?" That question changes everything. It sharpens your focus. It filters your choices. It raises your standards. Suddenly, the things that used to steal your time, scrolling, procrastinating, overthinking, lose their power. They can't compete with the fire you've lit inside, and that fire doesn't need permission. It doesn't need ideal conditions. It just needs your full decision. There's a switch that flips when commitment gets deep enough. You stop identifying as someone trying to achieve something, and you become the person who simply does what it takes. That shift in identity is what creates lasting results. You no longer rely on hype, on external motivation, on fleeting inspiration. You rely on who you are, and who you are is someone who follows through. Someone who stays locked in. Someone who doesn't need more hours in the day because you've mastered what to do with the ones you already have.
People wait their whole lives for the right moment, for the perfect window, for some magical increase in time that never comes.
But the truth is, the breakthrough begins when you go all in with what you've already got. When you stop saying someday and start owning today. When you stop trying to fit your dreams into your life and instead start building your life around your dreams. That level of commitment looks unreasonable to the outside world. It looks obsessive. It looks intense. But that's what mastery demands. It demands that you stop dipping your toe in the water and finally dive in. Because when you're all in, everything changes. The way you move, the way you think, the way you respond to failure, the way you demand more from yourself. And in that space, time bends, progress accelerates.
Growth compounds, not because the clock gave you more, but because you gave more to the clock.